Live from WTOC, the Southeast news leader. The News Now starts on WTOC Plus.
Well, Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us here for the news on WTOC Plus. I'm digital anchor Jude Binkley, joined with meteorologist Andrew Gordon. We hope, you're heading out or getting ready to celebrate Ring In 2026. But Andrew, really cold this morning. Are we expecting it to be similar tonight?
Tonight will be chilly, but we're kind of going in the right direction for those that like the warmer air. You can't say good news it's getting warmer because then someone's like, oh, I like the cold. It's winter. So we are trending up overall. Let's take a look at what we have out there. I'm going to start out with the 24-hour temperature change at 11:01. Everybody is a little bit warmer than where we were at yesterday. So that's that subtle warming trend that we're dealing with here. But warm is a stretch because temperatures are still in the low to mid 40s for many communities. Our normal low for this time of the year is 41. We're just now surpassing that in the Savannah area. So let's take a look at the satellite and the radar. It's pretty clear out there. Nice, beautiful day. Wind coming in from the northwest. It's pretty light, but with little wind we had this morning, briefly, we did see some wind chills in the lower 20s. So thankfully, we're beyond that. Your feels like temperatures now across the region in the 30s. So we're coming up here at 11:02. It's warming up. Looking outside, this is what it's like right now. Oglethorpe and Drayton. Downtown, you can see the wind is kind of moving the leaves around a little bit. Some people out for a walk. It's only going to get busier downtown as we go into the evening, but temperatures in the 50s as we go through the afternoon, not so bad. And that's the good news here is that it is a really nice afternoon. Those temperatures mid-50s, so we're coming up about 10, maybe not 15 degrees, but about 10 degrees or so from where we're at right now. So a nicer day ahead. Hour by hour, one way to look at it, you see these temperatures going up to the 50s and then coming back down here tonight. So at midnight, looking at temperatures that are kind of in that 39-ish degree range. I did this a little bit for more inland areas, so I think that it could be anywhere from 39, 40, 41, feeling like the 30s no matter how you see it. So beautiful weather. Already checked in with the lovely folks that are doing the fireworks for Savannah. Good to go. I will not be up at midnight, hopefully, but it's been fun. I've gone like the last however many years they've done it, and it's a blast. So keeping with your river theme there with the picture. Tomorrow we're still going to be in the 30s in the morning, so that's below average, but warming up warmer in the afternoon into the 60s. Then Friday, we see some clouds come in. Not necessarily the rain, but we're seeing the clouds come in, especially midday. Some breaks in the afternoon. A lot of the moisture on Friday going to be off to the west, so really not seeing anything other than a stray shower. Into your Saturday morning, some isolated showers start to come in, but it's more the afternoon, the evening where your rain chance goes up for Saturday. So those temperatures, they're going up back near average, and Saturday looks pretty wet, so early you're dodging some isolated showers, but later in the day, pretty wet. The good news is that that's the only really good chance of rain out of the next week. So if you do have to get out and about, you got plenty of time to do it other than when the rain's around Saturday.
Good. I figure a lot of people will be wanting to get out and about. A lot of New Year's resolutions about being more active, running more. I've been going around the newsroom asking about, everyone else's New Year's resolution. And it's funny, Andrew, you said you can't say it's good news because it's getting warmer because some people do like the cold.
Right.
If you are one of the crazy people who prefer the cold, you could always go to the polar plunge tomorrow. We'll have a little bit more on that later in the show. But for now, Andrew, thanks for joining us here on WTOC Plus. And we are going to talk a little bit more about the New Year's celebrations, both here locally and around the world. But first off, we do have a developing story. This is just into our newsroom. We now know that an arrest has been made after the fatal shooting at Fraser Homes over the weekend. Savannah police arrested 36-year-old John Coleman today in connection with that deadly shooting. It happened on West Gwinnett Street around 6:20 p.m. on Sunday night. SPD says upon arrival, officers found a male victim outside of a house who was suffering from gunshot wounds. They tried life-saving measures at the scene, but that man ultimately did die to his injuries and was pronounced dead on scene. Coleman has been charged with murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. Well, as we get ready to ring in 2026, there are some new state laws that start tomorrow that you should know about. First, Georgia's flat state income tax will decrease again. It's all part of a plan to get that tax under 5% by 2027. Second, a new law will let Georgians create a catastrophe savings account that gives families a way to save for natural disasters without being taxed. And third, you may need to be more careful about where you park. Private property owners are now allowed to boot trespassing cars in cities that allow it. Property owners must post warnings. And we do have a full breakdown of all the new laws taking effect. That's on our website right now at WTOC.com. Also tomorrow, there's a new America First license plate you can get for your car starting tomorrow. It has an American flag on it to mark the country's 250th birthday next year. It's $90 and then $55 to renew compared to the standard $20 renewal rate. Republican State Senator Steve Gooch, who's also running for lieutenant governor next year, sponsored that bill, and he says it's a way to show support for President Trump. Well, preparations around the world continue to prepare to ring in 2026 at the stroke of midnight in Sydney. The city's set to have its largest police presence ever for today's celebrations, with residents still on edge after the month's deadly Bondi Beach terror attack. Major cities around the U.S. are also upping security as well. The National Guard was deployed to New Orleans 1 year after that horrific vehicle attack on Bourbon Street. And in New York, the iconic crystal ball will drop twice for the first time ever to ring in a milestone year. CBS's Camille Afzali has the latest.
3, 2, 1. New York's Times Square is pulling out all the stops for tonight's iconic crystal ball drop, set to fall twice to usher in America's 250th anniversary year.
We are going to have the most confetti ever, red, white, and blue.
Thousands of police officers will be on the ground, with more than 1 million people expected to brave the cold to celebrate in person.
We're going to do our part. We need you to do your part. If you see something, say something.
National Guard troops have been deployed to New Orleans' historic Bourbon Street, 1 year after a man drove his truck through a crowd of revelers there, killing 14 people.
We feel a lot safer having them here.
In Australia's Sydney Harbour, early arrivals could snag the best view of the fireworks show. Officials there say 2,500 police officers will patrol the festivities, the most ever, more than 2 weeks after 15 people were gunned down during a Hanukkah event at Bondi Beach.
We need to show defiance in the face of this evil, and the best way of doing that is to spend some time with your friends and your family on New Year's Eve.
Clockmakers in London are fine-tuning the mechanics of Big Ben.
As it gets closer and closer, we do hourly time checks just to make sure that the clock is as close to proper time as we can get it.
To ensure the nearly 200-year-old landmark chimes right at the stroke of midnight to ring in the new year. Kamal Afzali, CBS News, London.
Well, we want to take a live look now on your right at Times Square, where the city's getting ready to drop the crystal ball you just saw. I just checked to see what time it is around the world. The city of Taipei just rang in the new year about 8 minutes ago. Looks like they had some pop stars and some big celebrations as well. We'll be bringing you plenty of New Year's countdowns from around the world throughout the day right here on WTOC, on air and online. And as you get ready to ring in the new year, safety is key. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission says more than 1,400 people were injured by fireworks last year. That's why the Savannah Police Department wants to remind families to play it safe wherever you celebrate. Last year, more than 35,000 people celebrated and watched fireworks along Savannah's waterfront, and probably about the same number this year. Again, the weather looks pretty good, just a little chilly. Some people also like to light fireworks at home. At the same time, remember though, there's no illegal gunfire allowed. Firing off a gun to celebrate could mean dealing with a citation for the new year.
I've been with Savannah Police Department for 10 New Year's Eves. The times that I've worked downtown, you see the fireworks, but you should also be just watching the area just to make sure that everybody's continuing to have fun and that there's nothing wrong going on. And sometimes there's some celebratory firearm shooting going off. I've not written any citations as far as that goes, but could happen.
Savannah police also remind pet owners to bring their animals inside if they're frightened by loud booms. Drivers should also keep an eye out for pedestrians on the streets late tonight. Turning now to health news, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says Georgia's flu activity is in the very high category. Children's Healthcare of Atlanta released a statement saying last week they tested nearly 1,200 patients and half of them with respiratory symptoms had the flu. Owner of Kid Care Pediatrics, Dr. Helena Bentley, says she's seen more kids and sicker kids than previous years, and she says this is why.
The climate that we're in, we're increasing the non-vaxxers in this country. And when we increase non-vaxxers, we're not taking into the account of all of these things that can rapidly spread among our population.
Dr. Bentley says the flu's subclass strains, meaning mutations of the virus, may be adding cases this year. She says vaccinations are still critical because they can decrease the severity of the illness as well as how long you ultimately be sick. Well, Georgia is set to get more than $218 million in the first year of a new federal rural health transformation program. While state leaders say it could reshape health care, doctors fear it may be too late. 9 rural Georgia hospitals have closed since 2010. At a South Georgia clinic on the Alabama border, people have to drive 30 minutes to an hour just to see a doctor. And that doctor is the only one left in her county. At 70 years old, she's working 12-hour days. She worries this plan's not sustainable and won't solve the rural healthcare crisis.
Drop-in telehealth pods. I guess that's a do-it-yourself ER, self-service ER. They're developing health transportation networks, but there's no funding to continue to pay the transportation. There's funds for recruiting nurses, but no money to actually pay the nurses once you recruited them.
Critics of the program also worry it won't be enough because of the Medicaid cuts and Affordable Care Act subsidies that expire tomorrow. And in South Carolina, the State Department of Public Health is reporting 20 new measles cases in the upstate, bringing South Carolina's outbreak total to 176. Officials say new cases stem from household, school, and church exposures, while several new cases remain under investigation. Nearly 300 people are currently in quarantine, with the latest expected to end January 21st. 3 patients, both adults and children, have been hospitalized with complications related to the virus.
It can spread through respiratory secretions. Somebody can cough. You can be in the same room. It takes a very low inoculum, meaning just a few particles of measles will infect somebody.
Health leaders warn that measles is contagious even before a rash appears, and they urge anyone who might have been exposed to notify a healthcare provider before seeking treatment. The South Carolina DPH says staying home while sick or in quarantine is critical to slowing the spread. Turning now to sports news. Tomorrow night, the Dogs hit the field. Georgia and Ole Miss are going head-to-head in the Sugar Bowl. It's the second straight year UGA is headed to the Big Easy. The Dogs are learning from last year inside the Superdome and hoping to avoid another loss in NOLA.
So, you got a lot of players, experienced players in this game, and I feel like experience plays a long way in bowl games like this. 'Cause, a lot of players be new to things like this, so we got a lot of experience, so we know what to expect, and I feel like our leaders are going to do a great job of just making sure everybody in the right headspace and making sure everybody focuses on the game and not just being down here. Because last year we did the same thing. We already came down here, so now this year I feel like it's just a business trip. Like, let's go down here and just handle business.
And back here on the coast, the Savannah Ghost Pirates are set to return after the Professional Hockey Players Association announced its ECHL membership has ratified a new 5-year collective bargaining agreement. The new agreement will run through the 2029-2030 season, ending a labor dispute that led to 28 game postponements across the league. That included multiple Savannah Pirates games. The ratification follows a tentative agreement announced over the weekend between the ECHL and the PHPA. All right, well, we've seen a lot of social media chatter about this at WTOC. Monks for Peace continuing their walk through Georgia today, spreading their message of hope and unity with every step toward Washington, D.C. Just yesterday, they made their way to Decatur, where state and local officials welcomed them. The 2,300-mile journey for the 19 monks and their beloved rescue dog, Oloka, began in Texas in late October. They entered Georgia on Saturday to warm receptions in Meriwether County. They continued that with a stop in Clayton County on Monday. The Walk for Peace is drawing larger and larger crowds at each stop, including at the Beacon Memorial Complex in Decatur. The monks led the crowd in a spiritual chant with local leaders in attendance. Now, the journey to this point has been far from easy, with 2 monks being injured along the way. But they say it's all well worth it in an effort to encourage peace.
We should spread love and kindness and compassion to the universe so that all beings can receive it equally. No hatred. Imagine within this rally, if this group of monks come here with full of hatred, will you be able to stand here? No.
Their journey through Georgia continues today, with the monks expected to walk through Athens.
We should spread.
Well, this morning, the last print edition of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution was released after 157 years. Joshua Skinner with our sister station pulled an all-nighter to get a look at the final day of deliveries. Take a look.
It's just another day at the office for Atlanta Journal-Constitution delivery man David Neely.
Oh, yeah.
Rolling, bagging, and tagging.
This place is a lot like a casino. There's no clocks.
But in a way, there are. Because after 157 years, time has run out on the AJC's print edition.
The last headline, what is the future of local media in Atlanta?
It's more than the end of an era, it's the end of a lifestyle. After all, the paper began its print run in 1868, the same year President Andrew Johnson was impeached. David has been here for the last 37, bagging and delivering dailies and watching everything shrink.
And I remember when Westchester basically was a route on its own, pretty much the whole neighborhood. Now I go in there and throw maybe 10 papers.
And he'll miss what a paper can do that a screen cannot.
Instead of click, flip, click, flip, click, flip, it's just more warm, personal.
But he also knows times change. Everything is going digital. I followed David on his final deliveries.
So here we go. We'll go around the corner here and start dropping papers.
He knows these neighborhoods well.
The foyer in there's got to be 3 stories.
As he hits each house one final time, the quirks of tossing a paper brick come back.
I hit this elderly lady in her driveway, didn't see her.
The job goes from roughly 11 p.m. to 6 a.m., 7 days per week.
And some days you have to stop and take a nap.
And David will be glad to get more sleep.
A couple of years ago, it's the last time I actually had a day off.
But there's also a sadness here in what feels like losing a friend.
Yeah, I figured we had another year.
But clocks or not, time doesn't stop, even for the news.
There it is.
In Roswell.
Done.
Joshua Skinner, Atlanta News First.
Yeah, a real bittersweet end right there. I've always been the type of guy who prefers to, have something physical. You can sometimes have a bit more of a connection to it. But at the same time, the media of landscape, or the landscape of media, is rapidly changing. It doesn't happen just one time a day, which is, of course, one of the reasons why we started WTOC Plus and these digital updates throughout the day to try to keep you informed. So really bittersweet end there for the print run of the AGC. They are still online, and they do incredible work as well. All right, well, tomorrow, finally, you can start off the new year with a splash with the 26th annual Tybee Island Polar Plunge. It is fun for the whole family. The event kicks off at 10:30 tomorrow morning with the Gang of Goofs costume contest and parade. Then at noon, it's time to take the plunge as brave participants run into the Atlantic Ocean. It's all happening just off of the Tybee Pier. All right, and with that, we are going to wrap things up here for the news on WTOC Plus. We appreciate you spending part of your New Year's Eve morning with us. Of course, Happy New Year's. We will be back in just about 40 minutes for another round of stories during the news at noon. And in the meantime, you can always head on over to our website to get the latest updates at WTOC.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll now join Local News Live in progress.